There's a strange paradox in life that most people never stop to see. Comfort, which feels like safety, is often the very thing that slowly destroys you. When you choose what is easy, you think you are protecting yourself from struggle, from failure, from the discomfort that comes with growth. But in truth, you are quietly trading away your potential for temporary relief. Each time you turn away from a challenge because it feels uncomfortable, each time you postpone your goals because the process seems hard, each time you silence your ambition because the risk feels too great, you are choosing a version of yourself that is smaller than who you could have been. That's the hidden cost of ease. It doesn't show up all at once. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream that you are falling behind. It just waits patiently as your habits of avoidance become your way of living. And one day you wake up realizing that your dreams are gone, not because someone took them, but because you left them unattended. Growth demands friction. It demands that you walk willingly into the unknown, that you fail and learn and rebuild stronger than before. The difficulty you avoid today becomes the weakness you carry tomorrow. You can't build strength in comfort. Muscles grow only through resistance, and the same is true for your character, your mind, and your spirit. Choosing easy may spare you short-term pain, but it also denies you long-term purpose. The human soul isn't built for endless comfort. It's built to carry weight, to overcome, to transform chaos into something meaningful. The path of least resistance may look smooth, but it leads nowhere worth going. What's tragic is that every easy choice compounds into a lifetime of mediocrity, while every hard choice taken consistently compounds into a life of meaning and self-respect. You don't become proud of yourself by avoiding work. You become proud by overcoming what once seemed impossible. When you pick the difficult path, when you face your fears head-on, you invite pain, yes, but within that pain lies the raw material of greatness. The raw material of greatness. You start to discover that discipline is freedom, that sacrifice breeds fulfillment, that responsibility gives life weight and meaning. It's through struggle that you find out what you're capable of, because the person you could be is waiting on the other side of the challenge you're refusing to face. Every time you pick comfort, you strengthen the part of you that wants to remain small, dependent, and safe. And safe. Every time you embrace difficulty, you awaken the part of you that was born to lead, create, and inspire. So ask yourself, what is your potential worth to you? Is it worth the discomfort of failure, of long nights, of moments of doubt? Because that is the price of transformation, and a price of transformation. The universe doesn't hand greatness to those who wait for it. It hands it to those who wrestle with their limits and demand more of themselves when it would be easier to stop. The easy way looks appealing because it asks for nothing. But that's exactly what it gives back. Nothing. The difficult way asks for your commitment, your effort, your pain, but in exchange it gives you everything: confidence, strength, and a deep sense of meaning. You cannot escape the cost of life. You only get to choose what you pay for. You can pay the price of discipline now or the price of regret later, but you cannot avoid paying something. And the price of regret is far heavier because it comes when you can no longer change what could have been. So, stop choosing easy. Stop killing your potential one small compromise at a time. Let the struggle refine you. Let the pain teach you. Let the responsibility you fear shape you into someone you can respect. Because the truth is, your potential doesn't die suddenly. It dies quietly. Every time you choose not to try, every time you look away from what you know you should face. The only way to keep it alive is to chase the hard things, to meet life's challenges willingly, and to remind yourself that meaning lives on the far side of effort. Every time you choose the easy way, you make an invisible trade, a small piece of your potential for a short moment of comfort. It doesn't look dangerous when you do it. It feels like rest, like safety, like a decision that protects you from unnecessary pain. But the truth is, the easy way always hides a silent cost. It robs you of the strength that struggle builds. It dulls your instincts, numbs your ambition, and makes you forget what it feels like to chase something difficult. The easy path might make you feel secure, but that security is false. It's comfort that slowly kills your courage. When you stop challenging yourself, you stop expanding. And say, when you stop expanding, you begin to shrink. And as you shrink, your confidence starts to fade because deep down, you know you're not living up to what you could be. The danger of comfort isn't that it feels wrong. It's that it feels right enough to keep you still. Ain't enough to keep you still. It whispers you deserve to rest, you've done enough, when you haven't even begun to test your limits. It convinces you that tomorrow is a better day to start, and by the time you realize that tomorrow never comes, the fire inside you has turned into smoke. Growth doesn't come from ease. It comes from resistance, from pushing against what frightens you, from staying in the discomfort long enough to let it change you. Choosing what's hard doesn't mean you enjoy suffering. It means you value who you could become more than the pleasure of staying where you are. The potential within you, that deep, untapped part, isn't unlocked through comfort. It's earned through confrontation, through facing chaos and turning it into order. Every hard thing you avoid becomes a wall around your future. Every challenge you embrace becomes a bridge toward it. You can't find out what you're made of by walking the same smooth road every day. You find it by climbing the steep, uncertain one that tests every part of you. If you look closely, the easy path and the meaningful path are separated by a simple difference. One asks for nothing, the other asks for everything, and yet the one that asks for everything is the only one that gives back something worth having. When you choose hard things, you're not punishing yourself. You're preparing yourself. You're shaping the character that can withstand pressure, disappointment, and fear without falling apart. You're proving to yourself that you can endure. And that endurance becomes confidence, a kind of quiet power that no one can give you and no one can take away. The world respects those who carry weight because it recognizes effort as truth. When you take responsibility, when you face difficulty instead of running from it, you begin to feel a sense of meaning that comfort can never provide. It's not an easy feeling. It's heavier, but it's real. The more you choose easy, the more you drift toward emptiness because nothing that requires nothing ever satisfies. But the more you choose hard, the more alive you become because difficulty forces you to evolve. You start to realize that potential isn't a gift you're born with. It's a responsibility you earn through choices. And every time you take the harder road, even in small ways, you reclaim a piece of that potential. The struggle, the discomfort, the failure, they all become evidence that you are still growing, still becoming, still alive. And maybe that's what life demands from you, not comfort, not perfection, but the willingness to keep walking into difficulty, knowing that every step through it brings you closer to who you were meant to be. There is a quiet tragedy in the way most people live their lives. They mistake comfort for peace and ease for happiness. The world is full of people who could have been extraordinary, but they settled for what was simple, familiar, and safe. The easy path feels gentle, but it's deceptive. It gives you rest now and regret later. When you avoid hard work, you might save yourself a few moments of struggle, but you also rob yourself of growth, depth, and strength. You start to shrink into a smaller version of yourself, one that survives instead of thrives. It happens slowly, almost invisibly, as each small excuse piles on another. I'll do it later. It's not the right time. I'm too tired. You convince yourself you're being practical, when in truth, you're surrendering your future for the illusion of comfort. Nothing in nature thrives without resistance. Trees strengthen against the wind. Muscles grow under tension, and character is built through adversity. When you choose what is easy, you interrupt this natural law of development. You stop evolving, and when you stop evolving, life begins to lose its meaning. The comfort that once felt warm starts to feel like a cage. You can sense the potential still inside you, but it grows quieter each time you ignore it, each time you turn away from the harder choice. We have a harder choice. The human soul is built for challenge. We are not designed to float effortlessly through life. We are meant to wrestle with difficulty and emerge wiser, stronger, more disciplined. It is in struggle that we find purpose. When you take on something difficult, you are telling the universe that you are willing to become more than you currently are. You are making an agreement with yourself that you will not live passively. Hardship exposes the truth about who you are. It shows you what you value, how much you can endure, and what you're willing to fight for. It is not failure that destroys people. It is the avoidance of failure that does. Failure teaches, strengthens, and refines. Avoidance weakens, dulls, and corrupts. People who chase comfort rarely realize how much of their spirit they are trading away. They think they're protecting themselves, but in reality, they are slowly erasing the qualities that make life meaningful: resilience, courage, and self-respect. You only discover your real limits by pushing against them, and every time you take the easy way out, you reinforce the idea that you are fragile. But you are not fragile. You are capable of far more than your fears suggest. You just need to be willing to prove it through action. The difficult road is not there to punish you. It exists to transform you into the kind of person who can carry greater responsibility and create a deeper life. The truth is, the easy path asks nothing from you and gives nothing in return. It's a trap disguised as peace. The hard path demands everything: patience, sacrifice, and persistence. But in return, it gives you meaning, confidence, and a sense of fulfillment that no comfort could ever match. Every time you choose discipline over laziness, effort over excuses, and growth over fear, you keep your potential alive. You breathe life into the person you could be. You become someone who doesn't just exist, but truly lives, because meaning is found only through voluntary struggle. The choice will always be there, between what is easy and what is right, between what feels safe and what brings growth. One leads to quiet regret, the other to deep satisfaction. You must decide which kind of life you want. The world will always tempt you with shortcuts, but shortcuts never lead to greatness. The climb is what gives the view its value. So when the moment comes and you feel that pull toward comfort, remind yourself your potential dies a little every time you choose easy, but it comes alive every time you choose to face what's hard. The cost of greatness is difficulty, and that's a price worth paying. Most people never realize that the easy path, the one that promises comfort and relief, is the most dangerous road they can take. It feels good in the moment. It feels safe, predictable, and calm, but it slowly eats away at who you could become. Each time you choose what is easy instead of what is right, you tell yourself a quiet lie that becomes easier to believe: that you'll try tomorrow, that you'll change when the time is right, that you deserve a break. But tomorrow rarely comes, and when it does, it demands the same price: effort, discipline, responsibility. Avoiding those things may spare you pain now, but it builds a greater pain later: the pain of knowing you wasted your time, your strength, and your potential. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you face resistance, when you meet obstacles and choose to endure rather than escape. Choosing easy may feel harmless, but it shapes your life in ways you can't see. Every avoided challenge weakens your courage, every delayed goal dulls your purpose, and every act of laziness reinforces the habit of mediocrity. Life quietly takes note of those choices, and one day you wake up realizing you've built a life that's smaller than what you dreamed of. Human potential is not a gift you are born with fully formed. It is a responsibility to cultivate. It demands effort, sacrifice, and sometimes pain. You must earn your own strength by facing the things you would rather avoid. It's through the struggle, the doubt, and the difficulty that your true abilities begin to surface. Think about how anything valuable is created. Diamonds are formed under pressure, muscles grow through tension, and wisdom emerges from mistakes. The same principle applies to your life. When you avoid pressure, you avoid growth. The easy way out might bring comfort, but it strips you of the chance to learn who you truly are. The moments that test you are not punishments. They are opportunities disguised as pain. They ask, are you willing to become stronger? And every time you say yes, you transform a little more into the person you were meant to be. The more you run from challenge, the further you move from that person. The more you face it, the closer you come to unlocking your potential. You cannot grow without effort, and you cannot find meaning without struggle. It's tempting to think that happiness lies in avoiding discomfort, but true happiness comes from progress, from knowing that you're becoming someone better than you were yesterday. The easy path leads to momentary pleasure but long-term emptiness. The difficult path leads to momentary struggle but long-term fulfillment. When you choose what is hard, you may fail, you may fall, you may even doubt yourself, but you also learn, evolve, and rise. Failure on the hard path is not the end. It's a sign that you are moving, learning, and living with purpose. On the easy path, there is no movement, no risk, and therefore no growth. You remain the same, trapped in the illusion of safety. The truth is, meaning in life doesn't come from things being easy. It comes from knowing that you faced difficulty and didn't quit. It comes from responsibility, from taking ownership of your choices, your actions, and your potential. Every time you choose to confront what scares you, you take back power from the parts of yourself that doubt you. That's how confidence is built, not from comfort, but from conquering. So, when you feel the urge to choose what's easy, pause and ask yourself what it will cost you. Because every choice either strengthens you or weakens you. The hard road is not the enemy, it's the teacher. It's the path that strips away weakness, builds character, and reveals strength you never knew you had. Life rewards those who are willing to endure its challenges with meaning, growth, and fulfillment. The easy way may give you comfort, but it will never give you pride. The hard way will test you, but it will also make you someone capable of standing tall in the face of chaos. In the end, potential doesn't die all at once. It fades slowly, one easy choice at a time. So when life presents you with a choice, remember that ease and meaning rarely exist together. You can live a comfortable life or a fulfilling one, but rarely both. The easy path will give you short-term relief, but long-term regret. The hard path will test you, tire you, and at times break you. But it will also reveal the depth of your strength and the beauty of your potential. You are capable of more than you think, but that truth will only emerge when you face what you fear. The moments you feel most uncertain, most uncomfortable, are the very moments when transformation begins. Choosing easy is choosing decay. Choosing difficult is choosing life. In the end, your potential doesn't vanish, you abandon it. Doesn't. And every time you decide to take the harder road, you breathe it back into existence. That's the real meaning of strength. To rise willingly into difficulty, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Every day, whether you notice it or not, you stand at a crossroads between two paths, one of ease and one of effort. The easy path invites you in with warmth, with comfort, with promises of rest. It feels safe, familiar, and free of pain. It tells you that life doesn't have to be hard, that you can skip the struggle and still somehow find peace. But the truth is, every time you choose that path, something within you begins to wither. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, invisibly, as your drive weakens and your potential fades. You lose the sharpness that comes from resistance, the hunger that comes from ambition, the fire that comes from purpose. Isue. It is not that comfort is wrong. It is that comfort, when chosen too often, becomes a trap. It lulls you into believing you are okay, even when you are slowly becoming less than you could be. You start to mistake stillness for peace, avoidance for wisdom, and procrastination for patience. And as you keep choosing what's easy, life becomes smaller, safer, and emptier. Human potential is not a static thing. It is alive, breathing, waiting for you to challenge it. It grows through difficulty, through the weight of responsibility, through the storms that test your strength. When you choose what is hard, you are not punishing yourself. You are shaping yourself. You are sending a message to your mind that you are capable of enduring, learning, and transforming. Every difficult thing you do becomes a brick in the foundation of your character. It teaches you patience, humility, and confidence. The hard road may hurt, but it gives meaning to the pain. The easy road removes the pain, but it also removes the meaning. You cannot build strength without resistance, just as you cannot build wisdom without failure. When you protect yourself from discomfort, you also protect yourself from growth. You begin to drift through life, living in the shadow of your potential, never realizing how much power lies dormant within you. The truth is, the hardest moments of your life often carry the seeds of your greatest transformation, but only if you are willing to stay and face them. The easy path is deceptive because it feels harmless. It tells you to relax, to take it slow, to enjoy the moment, to enjoy the moment. It sounds reasonable, and sometimes it is. But when it becomes your default choice, it starts to eat away at your discipline. You begin to negotiate with yourself in small ways, skipping a task here, delaying a decision there, lowering your standards just a little. And slowly your sense of pride begins to erode. You might not notice it right away, but deep inside, you start to feel restless. You know you're capable of more, yet you're living beneath that truth. That gap between who you are and who you could be becomes a quiet source of pain. You can distract yourself for a while, with entertainment, with noise, with the illusion of busyness, but it never truly leaves. Because deep down, the human soul doesn't crave comfort, it craves purpose. And purpose can only exist in the presence of challenge. The more you avoid difficulty, the more meaningless your comfort becomes. It stops being rest and starts being escape. Struggle, on the other hand, has a strange kind of beauty. It strips away illusion and exposes truth. It shows you who you are when everything easy is taken away. When you face something difficult and refuse to give up, you begin to respect yourself in a way that no comfort can provide. And you earn that respect through effort, through consistency, through pain that is willingly endured for the sake of growth. That is where confidence comes from. Not from praise, not from luck, but from knowing you didn't quit when it was hard. The difficult path doesn't just change what you have, it changes who you are. It transforms your perspective, it builds your resilience, and it strengthens your ability to handle chaos. When life becomes heavy, those who have chosen the hard path can stand tall, while those who have always chosen easy collapse under the same weight. The hard path trains you to carry life with dignity, to bear its burdens without breaking. But understanding this doesn't make it easy to practice. The temptation of ease never disappears. It whispers at every turn, offering shortcuts, excuses, and quick comfort. That's why discipline is so powerful. It's the ability to act according to your values instead of your emotions. Discipline doesn't mean you never rest. It means you rest after you've earned it. It means you choose what's right even when it's inconvenient. Discipline transforms chaos into order and potential into reality. Without it, dreams remain fantasies, and potential remains wasted energy. You might have the talent, the intelligence, or the passion, but without the willingness to do hard things consistently, none of it will matter. Potential is only real when it's exercised, only alive when it's challenged. The easy path will always ask for less, but in doing so, it will make you less. The hard path will demand more, but it will also make you more. In the end, life will always test your choices. You can choose the road that demands nothing and live with quiet regret, or you can choose the road that demands everything and live with pride. One will feel peaceful in the beginning but empty in the end. The other will feel painful in the beginning but fulfilling in the end. The person you could become is waiting on the other side of difficulty, and not somewhere far away, but right beyond the point where you want to quit. Every moment you resist the pull of ease, you strengthen that bridge toward your potential. Every act of effort is an act of resurrection, breathing life back into the best version of you. So, when faced with the choice between comfort and challenge, remember this. Your potential dies a little every time you choose easy, but it comes alive every time you choose what's hard. Meaning, growth and greatness are born from effort. from effort. They are earned through the struggle you embrace, not the struggle you avoid. Every moment of your life presents you with a choice, and though it often feels small, it is the most important choice you'll ever make. Whether to take the easy road or the meaningful one, everyone. The easy road always feels gentle. It promises relief from effort, a break from responsibility, and a sense of calm. It tells you that you can have peace without sacrifice and success without struggle. But every time you choose ease over effort, a small part of your potential begins to fade. It doesn't happen in one dramatic instant. It happens quietly, in tiny decisions, in moments when you could have pushed harder but didn't, when you could have tried again but chose to rest. You tell yourself that you're protecting your energy, when in truth you're protecting your comfort at the expense of your growth. And comfort, though it feels safe, slowly becomes a cage. Shoo! The walls close in not because life is cruel, but because you stopped stretching beyond them. You start living in smaller circles of possibility, surrounded by reasons instead of results, and excuses begin to sound like logic. The easy path seems kind in the beginning. It gives you freedom from pain, shields you from failure, and spares you from criticism. But that kindness is false. It hides a deeper cruelty, the erosion of your confidence and self-respect. Each time you avoid a challenge, you teach yourself that you're incapable of handling it. Each time you retreat from discomfort, you confirm to your mind that you're fragile. And over time, you start believing it. You start shrinking from difficulty, convincing yourself that it's not worth it, that maybe you're not meant for more. But what you fail to see is that every hard thing you avoid becomes a brick in the wall between you and your potential. Eventually, that wall becomes so tall that you can barely see what's on the other side. And that's when regret begins to whisper. The quiet realization that the life you wanted didn't slip away. You walked away from it, one easy choice at a time. The truth is, growth and comfort cannot coexist. Every living thing grows through resistance. The seed breaks before it becomes a tree. The muscle tears before it strengthens, and the mind struggles before it understands. You are no different. The challenges you face are not punishments. They are invitations. Invitations to rise above your current self, to test the limits of your patience, endurance, and courage. When you embrace difficulty, you align yourself with the natural rhythm of progress. The pain you feel in the process becomes the price you pay for strength, and it's a price worth paying. You begin to realize that discomfort isn't the enemy, avoidance is. The hard path, though filled with struggle, gives life depth. It forces you to grow sharper, wiser, and more resilient. It gives you something the easy path never can, a reason to be proud of yourself. People often believe that happiness is the absence of struggle, but it's actually the result of overcoming it. True happiness is born from progress, from the sense that you are becoming someone stronger and more capable. The moments when you want to give up, when the weight feels unbearable, are the exact moments when transformation begins. That's where potential takes shape. In the tension between what you want and what you fear. When you push through fear, you begin to see yourself different. You start to realize that you can survive what once terrified you, and that knowledge becomes power. It's not the kind of power that comes from control or success. It's the power of self-mastery, the quiet certainty that you can handle life as it comes. Without struggle, you never earn that. Without choosing the hard path, you never build the inner strength that makes life meaningful. Discipline is the tool that keeps you on that hard path. It's what allows you to act according to what you value, not what you feel. Feelings are fleeting. They change with every mood, every setback, every distraction. But discipline gives you structure, a compass that points toward meaning when everything else feels uncertain. It teaches you to show up even when you're tired, to continue even when no one notices, to persist even when failure seems endless. That's how greatness is built, not in moments of inspiration, but in the repetition of effort. Discipline transforms chaos into order and turns potential into achievement. It reminds you that consistency is more powerful than talent, and effort is more valuable than comfort. When you live with discipline, you stop chasing motivation and start embodying purpose. The temptation of ease never disappears. It simply changes form. It will appear as distraction, procrastination, or false contentment. It will tell you that you've done enough, that you deserve to stop, that someone else will take the responsibility. But if you listen long enough, you'll realize that the voice of ease is also the voice of regret waiting to happen. You can't escape the cost of life. You only choose when to pay it. You can pay the price of effort now or the price of regret later, but one way or another, the bill will come due. The easy road demands nothing in the present but takes everything in the future. The hard road demands everything now but gives back tenfold later. Strength, wisdom, respect, and peace. And a peace. When you accept that truth, your relationship with struggle changes. You stop running from it. You begin to see it as the path itself, not an obstacle on the way. So, when you find yourself hesitating between what's easy and what's right, remember that your potential depends on that choice. Every decision shapes the person you are becoming. The easy way will always feel tempting, but it will always cost you more than it gives. The hard way will test you, but it will also awaken you. It will remind you of what you're capable of how deeply you can endure, and of how far you can rise. So you can rise. Your potential doesn't vanish. It waits. It waits for you to choose courage over comfort, growth over safety, effort over excuses. And when you do, life opens up in a way that the easy path could never offer. Because meaning, strength, and greatness are born from one decision repeated 1,000 times. To do what is hard, not because it's easy, but because it's right. In that choice, your true self is born. Not the one that seeks comfort, but the one that was always meant to rise above it. Dale,